Hey guys, so we seem to have had some problems with our live stream last night of our first week back at Students. So I'm sorry, but the joys of COVID, right? But I want to talk a little bit about what it is that we started last night. It's this new series called Lifelines, and we're talking about friendships and godly friendships and how it is that friendships allow us to be real. When we first meet someone, I think if you were honest, you'd probably say, you're never 100% you. You maybe kind of hide some of the weirder, stranger parts of your personality because we are oftentimes afraid of making ourselves vulnerable, afraid of being honest, because we think that maybe sometimes who I really am is unlovable. In the story of the woman at the well in John chapter 4, Jesus is telling this woman to draw water for him, and she goes, "Well, why are you talking to me? I'm a woman, and I'm a Samaritan woman at that." And Jesus says, "Man, if you only knew who it is that you were talking to, you would ask for the living water that I've come to provide." And so Jesus in John chapter 4, verse 16 says, "Go, call your husband and come here." And the woman says, "I have no husband." And Jesus says, "You're right in saying that I have no husband, for you've had 5 husbands, and the one you now have is not your husband. What you have said is true." And she tries to pivot and change the subject, and they get into this conversation about, where are we supposed to worship? Are we supposed to worship on this mountain? Are we supposed to worship in Jerusalem? And Jesus says, look, one day there's going to be this Messiah, this Christ figure that's going to come, and he's not going to care where you physically worship as long as you're worshiping in spirit and truth. And by the way, I'm that guy. And she leaves the well changed and tells the whole town, this might be the guy, this might be that Christ, that person that we've been waiting for, that we've been looking for. So this week, I'm going to give you a challenge and 4 practical ways that we can be godly friendships. Ephesians chapter 5 verse 1 says that we are supposed to be imitators of God. So if we as Christians are trying to imitate God, why don't we imitate God in all aspects of our life, including the way that God in the flesh, Jesus Christ himself, went about making friends? And so I've got 4 practical ways for you. The first thing we have to do is we have to quiet the judgment. Jews and Samaritans hated each other, so it's not by accident that Jesus would find himself in Samaria. As a matter of fact, he went there intentionally to show his followers, to show his disciples that their judgments on Samaria were all wrong. And if you want to be a great friend, if you want to have godly, real friendships, sometimes you just need to stop talking and stop judging and listen to others' stories like Jesus did. Secondly, you have to know who you are. When Jesus approached the woman at the well, he approached fully confident in who he was. I am Christ. I am God in the flesh, the one who is coming to make all things right. He didn't try to change who he was. He didn't try to hide parts of his nature in order to gain the approval of this woman. He approached this woman knowing exactly who he was. And by knowing who you are and who you are in Christ, you take the focus off of you, and you can then help others discover who they are. Now, these last 2 are very similar, but they're very different, so listen carefully. The third thing that we have to do if we want to have real godly friendships is we have to be real. Sometimes a real friendship is on you, and if you want friends where you can be open and be honest, maybe it's on you to take the first step. So how can you be more honest, more open, more authentic, and more vulnerable with your friends so that they feel safe enough to do the same? Fourthly, not only do we have to be real, we also have to invite real. When you see your friends struggling or going through something, don't just ignore it. Don't let a tough topic or a potentially awkward situation keep you from talking about the real stuff. Don't allow a friend to stay in hiding. I think that most people, if they're honest, and I know that I've been there myself, where I've been struggling, I've been dealing with something, I've been going through some stuff, and I'm just sitting there desperately hoping that someone would come and ask me, hey, are you all right? Because I'm not all right and things are falling apart. And you have the opportunity to be the kind of friend who can gently, who can compassionately invite others to come out of hiding and to be real. A lot of people just need to know that it's okay to be real. Godly friendships allow us that opportunity. So my challenge for you this week is this: find a way to get real with one of your friends this week. We'll see you next week.